This is news around the world on Pensioners 106.7 FM, Agbarigo, Nireke, Ibadan. I am LAOLU, OLATUNBOSUN. First, the top stories. Buhari promises to stand with Burkina Faso over terrorist attack. Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu comfortably wins party leadership challenge. Plane crashes in Kazakhstan shortly after takeoff, at least 14 dead. And in sports, NFF boss Pinnick says Raw must reside in Nigeria to coach the Super Eagles. Now the news in full. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured the government and people of Burkina Faso, who suffered a deadly terrorist attack that claimed the lives of 35 citizens, that their brothers in Nigeria and the West African sub-region will not abandon them to their fate. Speaking on the attack carried out on Tuesday in Arbinda, the northern part of the country, Buhari said the slaying of 31 women among the innocent victims was cowardly and remains condemned by reasonable opinion all over the world. The president, in a statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Malam Garba Shehu, recalled his meeting with the country's president, Romak Christian Kabore, on the sidelines of the ECOWAS meeting, at which occasion both leaders agreed to hold a summit in the new year to discuss the issues of security and economy. Buhari, however, commended the Burkinabe troops for repelling the deadly attack and prayed for the repose of the souls of those killed. The Commonwealth Medical Association, CMA, has called on the federal government of Nigeria to improve on security in order to prevent the killings and kidnappings of medical doctors and other health professionals in the country. Dr. Osaho Enna Bulele, the president of CMA, who made a call in a condolence message to the family of late Professor Jerome Lucien, said CMA would remain deeply saddened over the gruesome murder by unknown gunmen of one of her own. Late Lucien was killed in the line of duty while returning from a clinical examination of the undergraduate medical students of the Ambrose Ali University in Edo State. Edna Bulele also condemned the killings and the kidnappings of medical doctors and other health professionals, including the recent killings of some aid workers, especially in the northeast, in the course of their duties. He, however, called for improved security and ambulance services on Nigerian highways to avoid needless killings and other social vices. Meanwhile, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has commended officers and men of the Nigeria Air Force for sustaining the tempo of operation in the fight against insurgents in the northeast. Represented by the Air Task Force Commander of Operation Lafia Dole, Air Commodore Precious Amadi, the Chief of Air Staff urged the troops to redouble their efforts to completely rid the northeast of terrorists. While commending President Muhammadu Buhari for providing the needed resources to carry out their assigned duties, the Chief of Air Staff also tasked the personnel to show appreciation by remaining disciplined and exhibiting the highest level of professionalism. In his remarks, Governor Amadu Fintiri of Adamawa, represented by Secretary to the State Government, Mr. Ahmed Bashir, lauded the role of the Nigerian Air Force in restoring peace and security in Adamawa, assuring them of his commitment to work with the Nigerian Air Force and other security agencies to sustain the tempo. A member of the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN-led Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, Professor Adeola Adenikinju, has warned that the Naira faces big challenge ahead unless certain conditions in the economy challenging the local currency's stability are addressed. In his personal statement to the CBN, the research professor at the Center for Econometrics and Allied Research, University of Ibadan, Professor Adenikinju, said the fall in foreign reserves and deterioration of current account balances are red signals pointing a difficult time ahead for the Naira. Adenikinju explained that although the foreign exchange rate market remains relatively stable at both the Bureau of Change and investors and exporters windows, the weak performance of the current account balances, fall in foreign reserves, and the small margin between oil price and the benchmark price for oil implies that there could be increasing pressure on the Naira in the medium term if the existing conditions subsists. However, this development may not translate into more capital flows for Nigeria because of the uptrend in the U.S. yield curve. Therefore, Nigeria might experience more portfolio outflows in the foreseeable future, which may impact negatively on external reserves and the stability of the Naira. The World Bank has disclosed that the poverty rate in Nigeria could become worse, with up to 30 million more people falling into the extreme poverty trap in the next 10 years. In its latest Nigeria economic update obtained from its website, the World Bank said Nigeria's population is expected to grow by as much as 35 million in the next decade, and unless the pace of growth and job creation accelerates, the country will account for a quarter of all people living in extreme poverty worldwide. It also said the country's growth outlook was vulnerable to domestic and global risks, as it was facing a sharper than expected slowdown in the global economy, as well as geopolitical and trade tensions. It therefore recommended building momentum for reforms which are essential to mitigate risks and promote faster, more inclusive and sustainable growth that improves living standards and reduces poverty. A Nigerian-born pastor in Britain, Gabriel Dia, and his 2 children are said to have drowned in a pool during vacation. The pastor, who was aged 52, his 9-year-old daughter, Comfort Dia, and his 16-year-old son, Praise Emmanuel Dia, were named as the tourists who drowned inside a swimming pool at the Club La Costa World Complex in Spain. His 49-year-old wife, Onubumi Dia, and younger daughter were also on the holiday, but were not affected during the incident. Mrs. Dia said that none of their relatives could properly swim except Comfort, who had some idea. It is feared that the family could have fallen victim to a suction problem, which made it impossible for the 9-year-old girl's father and brother to rescue her after she got into difficulties at the resort. Dia was a pastor at Open Heavens London in Charlton, which is a parish of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG, in South East London. Ivory Coast's public prosecutor Richard Ado has said a former rebel leader and a candidate in next year's presidential election in the country, Guillaume Soro, could face life imprisonment over an alleged coup plot that involved amassing weapons. Richard Ado, who played a recording made by the Ivorian intelligence services in which Soro could allegedly be heard planning a coup, said the penalty for attempting a plot against state security was a life sentence, adding that the investigation was ongoing. However, the Ivorian authorities have issued an arrest warrant for Soro, prompting him to call off a planned homecoming after months overseas. Soro is believed to be in Europe, although his exact whereabouts are unclear. He has denounced the case against him as being politically motivated. At least 30 people were killed in a fight between militiamen and traders in a restive district of Bangui, the capital of Central African Republic. The fight began after traders in the district took up arms to oppose taxes levied by militia groups. Awad Al-Karim, Imam of the Ali Bobolo Mosque in a district called PK5 that became a haven for many Bangui Muslims, said 30 bodies have been brought to the mosque. In the course of the pandemonium, between 40 and 50 shops are said to have been burnt down, as well as 4 or 5 houses. Neither the UN peacekeeping force, MINUSCA, nor the Central African Republic authorities have been able to assert control over the PK5 district. MINUSCA spokesman Bailey Amino Alao said a rapid response force had been sent to the area. A Beck airplane with 93 passengers and 5 crew members on board crashed near the city of Almaty in Kazakhstan today, shortly after takeoff, killing at least 14 people. The Kazakhstan's Civil Aviation Committee said in a statement that the Fokker 100 aircraft heading for the capital, Nur Sultan, on a pre-dawn flight, lost altitude during takeoff and broke through a concrete fence before hitting a 2-story building. The Aviation Committee said it was suspending all flights of that type of aircraft pending an investigation, as the authorities have not suggested any possible cause of the accident. In a tweet, the Kazakh President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev expressed condolences to the victims and their families and added that those responsible will face tough punishment in accordance with the law. From next week, a campaign to launch thousands of new satellites will begin in earnest, offering high-speed internet access from space. But the first fleets of these spacecraft, which have already been sent into orbit by U.S. company SpaceX, are said to be affecting images of the night sky. Astronomers are warning that their view of the universe could be under threat, as the spacecrafts are appearing as bright white streaks, so dazzling that they are competing with the stars. Scientists are worried that future mega constellations of satellites could obscure images from optical telescopes and interfere with radio astronomy observations. However, the companies involved said they were working with astronomers to minimize the impact of the satellites. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has claimed a huge win in a vote that challenged his leadership of the Likud party. Netanyahu secured 72.5% as opposed to his rival Gideon Saar, who pulled 27.5%. Mr. Saar, who admitted defeat, said he would now back Mr. Netanyahu in a general election slated for March. Benjamin Netanyahu had been expected to win comfortably, but campaigned tirelessly because he wanted the results to show his grip on the party remained strong. The internal party vote was seen as a test of Mr. Netanyahu's hold on power at a time of mounting difficulties. The country's longest-serving leader is facing mounting difficulties after being indicted in 3 corruption cases last month. The suspension is 106.7 FM. We'll be back with sports stories shortly. President of the Nigeria Football Federation (NFF), Amadu Pinnick, has confirmed Super Eagles coach Gernot Rohr will be required to reside in the country. The German tactician was appointed in 2016 on a 3-year contract which runs out this month and will be offered a new deal following his satisfactory performance with the Super Eagles. According to the NFF boss, Negotiations between the Federation and the German tactician over a new contract are expected to commence in January. However, the new deal will include a clause that will compel the former Brody manager to reside in Nigeria. The 66-year-old Raw helped the three-time African champions qualify for the 2018 World Cup in Russia and also led them to a third-place finish at the 2019 African Cup of Nations in Egypt. Leicester City manager Brendan Rodgers believes it will be very, very hard to stop Liverpool winning the Premier League, while also singling out Trent Alexander-Arnold for praise. Liverpool moved 13 points clear at the top after thrashing Leicester 4-0 at King Power Stadium on Boxing Day. Rodgers said his former club, who have won 17 of 18 league games this season, would be difficult to stop. Roberto Firmino's brace, a James Miller penalty, and Alexander-Arnold strike saw Liverpool crush past Rodgers' second-place team. Alexander-Arnold also provided 2 assists, and Rodgers praised the right-back's performance. The Foxes have now lost their past 2 Premier League matches and are without a win in 3. Rodgers' side next face West Ham away from home and would likely start the game in third should Manchester City beat Wolves on Friday. To end news around the world on Pensioners 106.7 FM, another look at the main stories. President Muhammadu Buhari promised to stand with Burkina Faso over terrorist attack. Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu has comfortably won party leadership challenge. Plane crashed in Kazakhstan shortly after takeoff, recording 14 deaths. And in sports, Nigeria Football Federation NFF boss Pinnick has said Raw must reside in Nigeria to coach the Super Eagles. For any information, please contact us on these mobile numbers: 081-2008-6270 or 0802-237-3535, or visit us at Oyo State Pensioners House, Agbarigo, Odereke, Ibadan. The news editor is Abiola Ayodele. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am LAOLU. OLATUNBOSUN. Thanks for listening. Good afternoon.
Pensioners FM. This is Africa's model.